Hello there. Welcome to today's Create in 8. And I just wanted to share with you, while this video is playing, of a little art journal collage that I put together. I wanted to talk about what exactly is Create in 8. Where did it come from, and why I'm here doing this, trying this experiment. So, for me, I've always considered myself a creative, an artist. I come from a long line of artists in my family, and it's always been something that I identify with. But at the same time, I also believe that sort of you are what you do. But that's not exactly how I would describe it. But if you're a writer, you write. If you're an artist, you art. So for me, I had really stepped back from creating my own art pieces because I was so busy making for someone else. My day job is creative in nature. And so it really, over time, I hadn't refueled myself and given myself a practice of art that was just for me. It was just a joy to create. And it had really started to show up in a lack of creativity and in just that sort of nagging, kind of burnt out feeling. And I knew I wasn't doing my best work, and something had to change for me. But I tend to like to devote a lot of time to creativity, to art, to painting. I love to set aside a whole afternoon, clear my calendar, be free to create and see where the whim takes me. And so in order to make time for something like that, I thought that I had to just clear my schedule and have all of this free time. And real life happens. And of course, it's so hard to just clear the decks for a whole afternoon or a whole day and just see where creativity takes you. So I had to find a way to make it manageable, to set a parameter that I could create within that I would actually engage with. So I sat down one day and wrote up my own sort of parameters and my own rules for Create in 8 for me. And I think it's a really useful practice to engage in. And the idea is it's less than 10 minutes. Create in 8 is to create something in 8 minutes. So it's quick, it's intuitive, there's not a lot of time for overthinking. It is a manageable time to be able to say, you know what, of course I have less than 10 minutes to make something today, even if I'm in a hurry, even if I just scribble or scrawl or just pick up a paintbrush for just a few minutes. Of course, I can make something in 8 minutes. And so that's how it started for me. It started as a way to keep my mind from overtaking the process. And what I've found is that it really opens up the intuitive lanes of communication for me. There isn't the time for overthinking. There isn't the time to hem and haw and make decisions. I literally set a timer for 8 minutes and I keep it near whatever I'm painting on. And I have to say that there will be times, and I would imagine that in these videos you can sort of tell the moment that I look over at the clock, because all of a sudden I start moving a little bit faster because there is something that I want to complete. I want to get to a specific level. or not level, but level of completeness, or there's more that I want to put on the page. And for me right now, I'm choosing to engage in it and to build that muscle of just doing it for 8 minutes. And my own personal criteria is that if I want to create for more than 8 minutes, I have to change pieces. Like, I can't work on the same piece for more than 8 minutes. And if I want to work on that piece again, I can add another layer on a different day for 8 minutes at that time. That's just a silly little thing that I've put into place for myself because I really, really, really want to hold to that original idea, at least for a while, to be able to really start to get the feel of how much I can get done in 8 minutes, what those kinds of pieces can look like, just to intuitively get something out. I have a list of a few ideas of things that I want to create, but overall, for the most part, when I sit down to create something, I just sort of intuitively grab a stack of something or a pile of something or a couple of paint colors or a few pencils, and just go. It's like use a thing, reach for, pick up a thing and do something with it. And it's intentionally meant to sort of push at those boundaries because I'm a big planner by nature. I like to have things laid out and planned and systematized and color-coded and, bullet points and that kind of thing. And so to do something like this that is unplanned and freeing and not structured is actually really challenging. Even for that 8 minutes, it's sort of like this pressure on both sides. It's like it can't be too long, and so I can't just take all day to figure this out. And at the same time, there's the pressure of not having the plan, so I have to come up with it like right then and there. Not to mention that I've been filming myself of late, so there's also that. But it is pushing me creatively to rely on my creative instinct. And I can feel how that has kind of withered over the years. I still consider myself a very creative person, but it's different. It's changed. There are more muscles that I can flex in that idea of creativity. So, yeah. So many other ideas for this channel, not just create in 8, but that's where I'm starting, and perhaps some book reviews and other things and some longer pieces and just kind of getting in there and flexing those creative muscles. So we shall see. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today on today's installment, a little different, some of the history and thought behind the Create in 8 idea. And let me know if it's something that you want to try out on your own, or if you'd like to know more about. Leave me a comment below for sure. So today's supplies were actually pretty minimal. I just used this Payne's Gray acrylic, just very diluted, to give it a little feeling, and this squared off graphite construction pencil, just a few clippings, magazine clippings, and a little bit of gesso in there. That was it, and then just addition of just a little bit of masking tape. So that was it. Pretty minimal. Thank you so much for watching this week's Create in 8. And I do hope that you subscribe if you find value in this or inspiration here, or if you're just curious to see how this whole thing goes.